guys. I'm going to be doing some quick UI work. It's mainly a extension of a new UI system that I had started making in Feature Complete a very long time ago. Now it's almost 5 months ago I poked at it. It's called an orchestrator pattern. Um, it's already done. Just a matter now of putting it to work on a separate piece of UI. So I spent some sparing time, maybe like 3 days, 4 days total almost right now, completing a stat system. Um, Came out pretty well. We thoroughly tested it. Um, it's crawler, so it has a walker pattern attached to it that allows for AI to effectively level up and apply stats and all kinds of stuff based on predetermined logic, and then a separate seeded pattern on top of that for if we have like a more complicated character that we want to generate later on, or we want to make like a specific group of characters operate similarly but not identically. Um, we can kind of create like an overarching an archetype for that group, and it'll produce a bunch of characters based on that. The beautiful part about it is it's all based on a seed, so we don't need to know extreme details about what they're doing. We just need to know what seed we want to apply to them, and it will configure it based on that. So we basically, we're doing a couple of things. Let's check if I'm actually streaming. I get into it. I should be streaming. It's been a while. Yeah. As I'm streaming. Looks like I am. Alright, awesome. Alright, let's get to work. This will be hopefully a less than 1 hour, less than 2 hour stream. What I'm doing now is turning the... I'll show you. So this is going to produce a log here. It just happens on start. We should get rid of these also. We'll get rid of them in a second. But this is our report for the crawler that we have. We just have a player here, and so there's a couple of systems that are just working here now, right? So this is our pooler. It'll just spawn a player for us. This is called just set up ahead. This doesn't have anything on it. It's really just a game object. When we slap on a dungeon actor, we kind of add the rigid body, I believe is the way that it works. We also add an actor movement script. Oh, no. We add a dungeon actor. It adds a actor movement, which will want to add a rigid body. The pooler adds the pool callback. And because this is a player, it will add a dungeon player script to it. The idea here is that we can later on just like, if we wanted to like make an ability that let us take control of enemies in weird ways, just pass along this dungeon player script, and that AI will now be the player with minimal code for each one, right? It's all component based. That's the idea. So we were just playing around with that. This is really, this is really just a play around, a zone to play with. Yeah, so over here you'll see like this report is what's being made. So we're trying to now make a UI using our new UI system for this, right? And you'll see here we're using Zanzia kind of cultivation level up system. There's an infinite number of these levels, but we'll always get these names from our different things. So this right here didn't show it, but we started off at 0, which would have been the mortal. This would have just said mortal. Like if I go back and set it to 0, you'll see that when it prints this. But these names are entirely based on the path that you're going with regards to how you're leveling up. So if you, as you level up specific things, these realm names will start to change to reflect the path that you're going along. Any time that you actually go along the realm. It also will help later on with the player identifying, oh, hey, this NPC might not be such a good guy, or and so on, right? Like, oh, you're at the peak of this realm or whatever. That's the idea behind it. Each, we already have an item for called an inner manual that you'll see is equipped here. Where is it? Inner realm 3 has, for some reason, we have 3 breakthrough points. I don't know why, but whatever. But it's called a System of Heaven is the manual. So we can procedurally generate these manuals also. This one I actually made myself. But we can just leave this empty and it will just create a manual for us. Again, this is all for the intended purpose of being able to just generate a ton of entities as we need them. Like we could have 3,000 of these guys, and they're supposed to be lightweight because, again, they just come down to an entire long seed that we just plug in. Okay. Right. So these are like the stats now that you'll see. So we have 5 base stats. I'm just going over this because UI is going to like. We have 5 base stats, not including longevity. Longevity is basically like how long you're live. Fortune, foundation, prowess, resolve, sensitivity. Right. So these are the stats that want to level up. The way that we level these up by actually just by increasing other stuff. They have them here. I don't have to scroll all the way. Yeah, here we go. So these are the stats that we get from the manual. And we can rank these up. Every time that we apply oh, I see. Yeah, there's a bug here already. So the longevity went up 35, and I think it's applying it. No, it's not. I don't know what this is. Okay, never mind. We need to put like a restriction. I'll take care. But the idea here is that we have a cap on rank, right? So right now for death intent, it is 12 out of 37. There's bottlenecks. So as you increase the level of like death, it might say like 6 out of 6. Once you hit like a cap, you just have to go to at that point have already unlocked the ability to do a breakthrough on the regular stats, and you can just increase one of them and it will increase all of your caps based on how much you've invested into. So if you're like maxed invested into this, it'll try to give you as much as you put in to increase your cap by. That's kind of why you see like 37 here and then only 28 on these, so on, right? But this is the Walker progression path. So this isn't identical to like what the player might do. So what we're designing now is the UI for what the player, so the player can actually interact with it in the idea. So the UI to represent this information. Now, not all of this information will be represented. This is using my broker visitor, right? So we can see here, like, so we'll see here, for example, these want to do, or add bonuses based on the core stat. So we have the core stat of, I don't know, here we go. Okay. So we have like critical chance, and we know that 0.37%, or we multiply it by 0.377, of whatever our current prowess is, goes into our critical chance, which is a 1% bonus on the 12 here, which is rounding because the minimum it'll ever be is 1. So this is now giving us, well, actually, no, that's a lie. This is just 1%, so it doesn't even add up to 1 yet, because all of these stats come at base value. All of these parameters come at a base value of 1. None of this is coded in. All of this is done through scriptable objects. We just assign them. I'll show it real quick. Not the point of this, but you'll see here, I just drag and drop these in and then just set the slider for how much of this. We need to update that. Yeah, this needs to be updated. Mod type needs to be updated. It's fine. We'll take care of it. Not a big deal. Alright. I have a visual impression of what I want to get done. So hopefully it won't take too long. I just need to stick to the rules that the orchestrator wants. Alright. So this is going to be probably... you know what? Let's start doing some pretty picturing, I guess. Where's our canvas? Here it is. What is this? Oh, I see. Okay. This is me goofing around with stuff also. Alright, we don't need to worry about that. Let us create a empty. Or how we should. Let's do this. So the point of this is to be as my coworker and friend Relly says, a back button. So whenever the actual UI is probably, am I in the right? Hold on, this. There we go. Can never do that soon enough. You got to remember to make sure to set your resolutions when you're working with UI. So we want to be able to click anywhere out here. And so we can just use something to... I normally don't do blockers like that, but it's like it never crossed my mind to do something that way, like just make an invisible blocker, and it does. At least when I haven't exercised it yet. I'm about to exercise it, but the way that he explains it, it sounds simple enough to apply, so why not? Is this blocking it? Alright. So now that we have that, our next step is the actual UI element. So we're going to apply our visual. So let's do here. Another panel over. This one, we're not going to have raycast target on. This is just pure gray things. Okay, good enough. We call this. Now, the difference between this and this is we're going to add a button here that will basically it'll exercise back. Hey Nick, how you doing? Oh shoot, you just reminded me. Second. In a minute. How are you doing, buddy? Yuki. Alright, that should be good. Right, so the difference is that this is going to have a back button attached to it. Actually, this is going to be the home of where we put most of our controller for the rest of this code. So we should actually probably just rename this to being something like, let's make this, what are we going to call this? Close this. What are we going to name it? There we go. Oh, okay. Fine decided Windows randomly defragmented my SSD while I was playing Minecraft. Was it not? I am now on Linux dual boot. I kind of want to use Nobara as my of choice, but I just want to get used to Linux. I thought design. Happy last day of April. Happy last day of April, Mr. Apothec. I've seen a lot of people getting into this Linux fever. A lot more than usual. It's usually, it's almost Apple level fervor. And hello, Mr. Apothec. Happy last day of April to you as well, sir. Okay. So we're going to slap our controller here. So let's go ahead and be organized programmers. We're going to go to our internal UI. But this is actually not, because we want to try to apply, there's something that I picked up when I was developing in Godot was their project organization structure. I always fail to do it for some reason in Unity. Like I just end up with typical, not typical, but the way Unity sets your brain up to do it is you just have a script folder and you put scripts in your script folder and break it down that way. Yeah, I've seen quite a few videos recently, like very recently, just popping up in my feed about Linux. But I am not sure. I'm not sure. Interesting. Second. Oh, okay. Guess there's no stream avatars today. Or is there? Hold on. Yeah, guess not. Okay. Yeah, okay, I can't find it. No, no, no go, no bueno. All right, let's get back to work. Um, all right, what did I say I was going to do? So I was going to put this stuff over. Okay, hold on one sec. Uh, Missed a bit. I aim to install Linux Mint. I was on Edge for half a year. Defragment. Oh yeah, that's weird. But you had it on a scheduler. I mean, it would. Why would it just do it automatically, right? That's weird. Even though it did it, it shouldn't even. Even if you have it on a scheduler, it shouldn't do it while you're actively using your PC. Like it would normally warn you with like a 3-minute heads up. Super weird. Um, I yeah. I keep things set per actor type or utility folders with subset types. Yeah, so that is the Godot way of handling it, Mr. Apothec. I forget the name that they use for it now, but it's pretty useful, especially in the way Godot wants you to just implement things. But in Unity, it's component-based, right? So it kind of just lends itself to a different structure. But I still like the way that Godot... At first, I didn't like it, but over time it grew on me because I realized it was just fast to find things related to what I was working on. In a way, it kind of rubs, and I haven't been able to like establish a proper middle ground for it yet. Like I've tried quite a few ways, like just setting up. I won't get into it, but I've done a few things. Right now, though, I am like struggling very badly to try to do it. um, yeah, I keep things. Yeah, tools and such. Mint is valid. There is no wrong choices except default arc. Agreed. Unless you know what you're doing, I guess. But Arc makes you need to babysit your system so that the nano update doesn't corrupt your display drivers. Like I don't know who would want that. Got my model going finally in build test. By the way, Art. Congratulations. You, it's piece by piece, friend. As long as you're taking steps, you're making progress. I aim myself to do Mint for the reason to only ever update the system if driver versions speed up correctly. That and with new support setup that is occurring from Valve for drivers, I feel safe going into Linux. Yeah, Proton is amazing. The Zeit with Steam and general gaming drivers pre-installed. Everything just sounds nice. Yeah, and emulations are peak. Yeah, and I had the schedule off. I can do that myself. That is extremely weird. Like, what the heck could have triggered that, man? I literally just now figured out Wageroid. I played Clash Royale for an hour. Um, don't I think I've played Clash Royale for 30 minutes almost like what, 7 years ago. Wow, um oh, you'll love Godot 4.7 animation trees are getting a massive update, which is making my workflow fast. Going AFK for a moment, getting the girlfriend from her job. Fantastic work, dude. Hey, if they update the animator in Godot, I'm in the middle of stuff, but I can definitely take a look to see what pain they're willing to inflict on me this time. How are you when you come? I guess when you come back, if you're still here, you can tell me how you're finding the 3D animator. Like I just couldn't deal with it. I ended up having to, like, I violated the one rule that you shouldn't do when you're dealing with engine design, with designing on an engine. You don't fight the engine, and I was basically designing a new animator. That was intense. That was intense. Those were intense times. Um, I played it occasionally. It's my only mobile game outside of Brawl Stars, which I willingly quit. I don't know why I still have it installed. Actually, fair enough. Um, Okay, let's do this part now. So we were looking for where we should put our new scripts. So this is going to be our cultivation visual control. So we're going to just try to do it the right way, I guess. Let's see. So this is going to exist in... should we worry about scenes for this? I guess, maybe. I'm tired of having so many UI folders all over the place. So we're going to just put it... this is not a core feature of the game, but it is a feature. So we should probably put it under... yeah, here we go. But this is... oh, we have like a separate UI folder here. What does it do? Alright, we'll just do it here. So this was called a cultivation visual control. Okay. So we're gonna do this prefab, and then we're going to do this scripts. Okay, and this. So yeah, we don't need that. Like, this is what I mean, right? Like in Godot, you'd have your images over here, but you can't really do that because when we get like assets, all of our assets are in their own folder. Like, that's just the way that it's set up. Unity just lends itself towards that style. All right, so let's start with our first script here, which is going to be our
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to live this out. We got this far, don't
again. I've been Nick, man. I can tell you, it's been a wild ride. It really has been a wild ride. I think streaming has been probably one of the easiest things to do compared to the last couple of months. It's been a very... streaming game dev it strains the mind, but it isn't as have high impact as like having to like have a team to report to and all this other stuff. Like, it takes I could maintain that level of output for maybe like tracking it now, maybe like 8-9 months proper, like, you know, just throwing in 16 hours a day and just keeping it at it. But holy cow, you need to take a break sometimes. So I'm finding this to be a pretty... it took maybe like what, 8-9 days of just mental de-stressing in order to get back to where I was like, okay, I can look at code again and stream and stuff. So it's good to be back as little as I can be. This is our in-game daytime thing. Why am I looking at this? Ah, right, we're over here. So I want to name this our cultivation panel controller. There we go. Okay. So this is going to be our little starting point for our mono behavior. All of our scripts are just going to be working through this part. We're going to actually just start implementing the script here, right? Like, we know what we're going to need. So we're working on a new pattern for how we deal with UI for this. It's basically the controller, and then we just call the rest segments. So we're going to have our cultivation public class cultivation realm. Also going to be mono behavior. Let's just copy paste this, I guess. There we go. All of them are basically the same thing. It's going to be the manual. And then the base stat. Okay. And all of these are going to inherit an interface, so we can just easily deal with them because they're all just part of the same public interface. We'll call it Cultivation. Okay. Right, so that way we don't need to worry about which one we're dealing with in this part with the controller. We just can tap into this and we'll get access to all of the rules that are inside of these. So we can go right ahead now and wrap all of these inside of namespace artlib UI. Okay. Oh, brother. All right, so this is going to be, let's start hammering this one out. This is going to be like where we register. I think we're going to use a registration pattern here as well as just, this is good. This is the link point for all other code that wants to tap into this piece of element. So let's just make a public action, and we're going to pass in our entity here. Already taking care of this here. So we're going to go on this, on update, on close. So now this is going to inherit something else also. I think it's called an orchestrator element. Sworn there was something named like, oh, there it is, overlay background. Okay, you just go here and see UI view. Okay, got it. So this will inherit UI view, which takes care of all of the heavy lifting for how this UI element should work. We can go into it if I ever go in and show like how to create an orchestrator pattern proper. I did start it in one video and then just, like I said, the mental wasn't there. So let me just make sure, because we do have some callbacks here. Closed. This is a different one though, like this is community event proper. This one, so we should avoid that one. Yeah, okay, we should avoid that one. So then should we make this internal? Okay, so now let's just store the state. So for this, we're going to track the entity, obviously. Right, and then we just need to get the list of segments. So this is where now this comes in. So you can just do something like private, read only, this, or you could do, yeah, this, I cultivate. Right, and then we, okay. Why don't you like me? I forget. Non-generic type list. Oh, because this. Like, I don't understand. No one uses that. I've never met a single person who uses NUnit. Like, it's never happened. Why does it it's always systems collections generic. I bet you within like the next week or two, I'll end up in a situation where I need to use that. I guarantee it. Oh, that'll be sad. Oh, serialized field. I've just never had to use it. I don't know. Game object. Oh, the root object. This is what I mean. Okay, so now we just need to worry about the public API. Alright, so we just have one call from this. Or should have in the end, probably two. Let's see. Public void display. Alright, and we're just going to pass in the entity that we want to display the information of. First thing we got to do is set the entity to being this entity. Right? And we don't get anything we want to throw. We can get away with this because this entity is not a. It's just a Poco. It's not really anything. Otherwise, this wouldn't work if we were targeting the full mono behavior. And then we can just set the root to true, and we can just do the on display. Okay. Right? And we're just keeping it simple. So now we can just do something like this. So I guess we're going to do this. Refresh this, right? And we can just pass on update. What am I doing? There we go. We could just do it this way, right? There we go. I don't know if I told you, but over time, for some reason, the people who've been playing the game, Souls Collector 3, even though I am not working on it all, are they're having more. Somehow it had. And I played occasionally. I have a web build. Cool beans. I didn't know you had a game out, dude. You have 3 games out. Souls Collector 3. I'll check it out. It's on itch, I'm assuming. I'll check it out later. After this, I'll check it out. I'll check it out right after. Congrats, man. When did you finish it? Oh, I did know? When did you finish it? I knew that you did weird stuff. I didn't know like you had like an actual project that you completed. Like, I remember playing a couple of weird things that you did, and it was pretty cool, but they were like not like start game, end game stuff that I saw. It was more like game jam kind of stuff where there's a game there, but it wasn't like developed out, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm misremembering. Okay, I'll check it out. We don't need to do the root that active false, actually. Null the entity. Okay. Good. Alright, and so now that we have this, we just need to make our registration pattern. I'm almost tempted to make this a static call. Almost. I'm almost there. I'm trying to think, would I need to have this controller in more places than one? And I'm coming back with an answer of no. Welcome back, Mr. Rapothic. I heard you were trying to lure me into suffering through some more Godot and 3D animator sadism. I mean, it's now on my radar for things to look into. Hello, Power Trip. Okay, let's start our registration pattern. So we're gonna register segments. And I cultivation. I mean, I am enjoying the 3D animations. Oh, you are? Maybe it's made for artists, because I just couldn't get with it. Like, I've heard so many weird... It could just be me. Generally speaking, it could... It's like, maybe it's just me. Maybe my brain was not made for how Godot wanted my brain to work. I just couldn't... Everything else about Godot was fantastic, except that the animator. See. Yes, that was the GMTK one, Souls Collector 3. Okay. But I've been developing it a bit further on like another branch with a hidden beta version. Oh! Look at you, man. Holy cow. Congrats. Like, seriously, congrats. And everything under the hood is different alongside the general game feel compared to the bad game I put up for the game jam. Fair enough. That's how post jams work. but there is still no player feedback. I'm very much procrastinating on that. I see. So if you want to help later on, I got you. So if you want help later on, I got you. Okay, cool beans. Thanks, man. Like I said, the animator, I ended up. I mean, you saw it. You were there when I was doing it. I was rewriting parts of the animator just because. I mean, I. Here's the rub. It's not that it was not working. It was that it made no sense to keep using it because I was spending too much time on animation in 3D. That, like, anytime something needed to be added or removed, I knew that was like a week of time that I needed to add to the game. Just because of how I was trying to avoid micromanaging every single animation. Right? So like in Unity, for example, I can have like a template animation. And this is just generally how I've set animations up like for years now. You have a template and then I just override animations. Instead of having to create like a specific animation for a specific character, I just slap a template on it and then I just plug in the animations at runtime and it runs with. Godot doesn't really facilitate that, right? Like you have to have everything already there. So I ended up having to rewrite the animator in order to create an override pattern for animation. That's what ended up happening. And so anytime now that I needed to make a change, I would have to go into the guts of the animator in order to make changes to how it wanted to override various animations. So like when you saw my character that art in that 3D combat scene that you saw doing the front flips and kicks and all this other stuff, and then like next second it was doing elbow punches to the torso and then all this other, you know, the cool animations and whatnot. All of those were happening at runtime. Like we were just popping in a new animation because a new ability was being called up, rather than having a predetermined this ability leads to this ability leads into this ability, and just having every ability mapped out on the animation sheet. We just had 3 slots and we just plugged in whatever animation, which gave the crossfade enough time to look fluid as it was moving between the different animations. Godot doesn't play nicely with that pattern at all when I was doing it. At all. It wanted me to just make like an animation scheme and stick to that. I was working against the engine and it was taking time. It was showing. And this is the beauty now of an interface, guys. This is why we love them.
Suck me in smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you. And the blackened eyes make my way into your mind.
We don't really need this, but
Just to know
whatever.
what you knew. Restless
So now we can just do this.
nights and we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty.
Okay, there we go. Okay, holy cow. And every everything under the hood is different alongside the general. Yes. I am, I am enjoying 3D animations myself, but there is still no player feedback yet, okay? So if you want, I can help you with that, okay? I have been working on a indie game myself. Awesome Power. What is it? Well, we'll see. Maybe you already wrote what it's about. I've devlogged it on my channel. Okay. I'm assuming Power Trip 77 will lead me to it, so I'll check it out. Let me add that to the things that I need to check out. Hold on a sec. I need to actually start writing stuff down. Give me one moment.
Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you
and Nick, your game, let me scroll up and get the name of it. Souls Collector 3. Okay, there we go. Alright. Move it along so we get back to work. Okay. Okay. I'm working on the game Turbo Warp. There is a Git page to download it. You should post it on itch instead of on Git, or if you can't, if it's not web build friendly, then there's tons of other sites also you can post it up on, just so people can like easily get like a safe way to play it. You know what I mean? Instead of running an executable on their PC. Yeah, valid. I love Scratch. Kinda. Turbo Wrap lets you save your project into HTML. Got it. Which is one of my reasons. Fair enough. Yeah, I know. I've never had a use for that. I usually used, and sometimes still do, use it for prototyping. Usually for Logic. Fair point. Underrated. Also, the game name is Cubicles, if you want to check it out. Holy Power Trip, you've got like a bajillion games, like, and you remember all of their names. Been tempted to toy with Unity for a bit, and make my project in 2 engines to see what runs better. There's a lot of games, Mr. Apothic. There are a lot of games that are out right now, like Slay the Spire and so on Godot, that are just doing fantastic. So I would say, like, if you're already deep in it, just stick, trust in the process, you know. And make my project in 2 engines. Cool challenge, Mr. Apothic. What engines are you using anyway? So, does Unity use Unity uses C#? So Unity, as far as a developer goes, there are 3 languages that Unity tends to use. Predominantly, you're going to be using C#. Depending on how deep you get into it, you might end up using GLSL, or sorry, HLSL. That's high level shader language. And then if you go into their new UI toolkit, they use XML on that also. So total of 3 different languages. Don't ask me why they're using XML. I don't know. Don't ask me why they're using HLSL. Well, actually, I do know that one. It's just been there forever. That's why they use it. Okay, let's see. As in the beta, it ran great. Just some frame lag. A case for what? Gotcha. I kind of forgot. My non-programmer, barely tech friend wanted to try game dev and did a tutorial in Godot. Didn't tell me until he finished. Oh, cool. C sharp, I believe. Yes, it's C sharp. By the way, cubicles took like a few months. Version. By the way, itch doesn't work for me. GitHub is sucks. I mean that's part of. So one of the reasons why I actually. So here's a selling point for Unity over what I experienced with Godot. Porting, developing out to platforms. Godot does do this well also, right? Like for web dev, or sorry, for web-based projects. I've never had an issue with Godot releasing onto the web. I think I have like 3 games out on itch, on from just Godot, from various jams and so on that I've done. And they've all didn't, none of them, well, no, one of them did give me some issues, but the guy that I was working with, like, he was a legend and figured it out super quick. He got a friend to help us, and we kind of just, like, ran through Godot's deep, like, I'm not going to get into it, but basically we figured it out, and it worked. So part of it happens with just how builds work. And it might be that the tech that you're using to push out your stuff on for web, you might need to. It might provide you with a way to debug it, to figure out exactly what's failing when you do your web build, right? But the selling point for Unity is that you don't really have those issues. They tell you what will go wrong while you're doing the build, right? Because they have a scraper that basically just runs through it as you're doing the build. It's very. I have rarely ran into the case where post build I then had to find an issue that was missed during the scrape that just absolutely prevented something from working on a platform. And that's one of the. That's actually one of the benefits of Unity. The game engine, but for some reason I wanted to try out something in Sandbox again, but while I was looking through the editor again, seeing the changes, it got revoked from it. It says because it released publicly. Ah, yeah, okay. We're having some minor technical shenanigans going on also with our Apple release for our game. Like, it's Google does shenanigans. So here's how it worked, right? We have our test up, right? We were doing tests back in like January on our Android platform release. And we had our testers running the game. The game ran perfectly fine. Accounts are working perfectly fine, it looked like. And then we go and do a live build on it, right? And we do a soft release. Like, we haven't officially launched the game. Like, we've launched it, but we haven't done anything to publicize it yet. And everything was, like, looked like it was working fine. No one suspected that because the testers were testers, Google was actually bypassing their Google Play Games. It was pre-registering their Google Play Games accounts for them. So when new people were coming in, it wasn't doing that. It was just putting them in as anonymous, and then they would have to go in and actually register themselves for our in-game process for logging in. This is not the intended way. The intended way was to, they should never have to do that unless they're in a failure state. So everyone was coming in effectively in a failure state playing the game. This was mostly because of just how the other members of the team wanted people to still be able to play the game even on anonymous. And I did suggest that we needed to have the whole suite. If we're going to allow people to come into our game anonymously, we needed to have the whole UI suite in-game for how these people interacted with their accounts. In other words, they had to be able to do account linking and everything. But they didn't want that. They wanted just the bare minimum, which was log in, delete account, and that's it. You can't do that when you have an anonymous. You need the ability to link your account somehow. So I tried to figure out ways of doing this. It just didn't play nicely. It started messing with our back end. Weird things just started happening all over. So Google has its quirks. The fix for that, in case anyone's ever thinking of releasing on an Android, is you have to make sure that when you do a publish for live on Android, for live specifically, not just on a test build, you have to also make sure that um, you publish your Google Play games for that game version as well. Like you have to do them both. You have to do that before you, or sorry, right as you do the actual game publish. Lesson learned. With Apple, I won't even like. It's been a doozy with Apple. Apple's always a doozy. Oh yeah, Nepal. Hello, Nepal. How are you doing? I'm doing all right, sir. I work on the hiding spot generation a lot and entities. It's not hard to expect the bugs of beta version of the game. Cubicles is a solo project, by the way. Also, it's kind of surprising that companies like Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony can make games and release consoles, and those games can run on the consoles they made. Huh? You lost me there, Power Trip. Yo, lost me. I would suspect that if they're developing a console, then their games can emulate their console can emulate the games that they're running, that they're supposed to run. I would suspect that. Okay, so let's do the inverse of this. Oh, we have to plug in the rest of this, right? So on Crash me? Is it update? Update? Let's see. Okay. I'm good. Played Assassin's Creed. Congrats, dude. Assassin's Creed 1. I remember playing that game. I did not really like it. Was amazing in its time, but it also felt like as if you're playing a tech demo. And when you got to Assassin's Creed 2 and 3, you realize, especially by the time you got to Black Flag, you realize, oh, Assassin's Creed 1 basically was a tech demo. We can just grab this. Okay, good stuff. So I think this is basically it for our panel controller. What else do we need to do? I think that's basically it, yeah. Alright, so now let's start working on our realm segment. So we can move this now out, cultivation realm segment, and create its own file. Soon as my IDE decides. Holy cow, my IDE it's messing with me. It's actually messing. Cultivation. I don't care what you want to mess around. Okay, so now we're going to get rid of these. Got to implement them. So as a just quick refresher on what I'm up to for anyone joining me. Wow, my IDE is being super weird. There we go. Okay. I was like, I hit save like 7 or 8 times. Okay, so as a reminder of what I'm up to, effectively I've already built out a stat system. I'm not going to go over it again. I did that at the very beginning of this, but when I hit play, you can see that it's going to produce a report for me. The report is basically it's just going through. I need to get rid of these. It's going through a walker and automatically trying to level up the entity. So this will apply to every entity in the game, including like um, regular monsters or NPCs, whatever. The point of it though is we can put in like an archetype. Let's say we want to make like a fire mage. We can put like we can through scriptable objects just place all of this stuff in. As soon as the entity needs to be created, it will just run through the various levels and automatically apply level ups and stuff like that to it in a very specific pattern. This is important. It's always determinative. So so all of this is seeded. The same seed will always generate the exact same build. This is how we handle our save system. So instead of creating like this whole save system where you see all of this stuff like you normally see, like a list of all of these different stats. It's just a very big number, and when you plug that number in, you'll always end up with this exact character all the time, right? That's how it is. So in this case, you can see we have here that we're at level 1, basically. We've applied some stats. The way that this game works, or the way that this process works, we start at 0. This would have been the realm mortal. And these would have been like, death would have been like 0 out of 6 at level 0, right? Or whatever the number is. This number, the second number, is the cap number, which can increase as we invest more points into our base stats. So every time we increase our base stat, we can apply points. We increase the cap on these. As we increase these values, we increase our progress. That allows us to get more breakthrough points. So that's how it's set up to work, right? And then as we spend more breakthrough points, we increase our caps here. So it's kind of like this system of, for the player, they might get like a really bad manual that effectively it allows them to increase a set group, because these stats come specifically from the manual that they have equipped. I forgot to mention that there's like we procedurally generate the manuals as well, so all the equipment and items are procedurally generated through a seed. So again, they're determinative, and the stats that are here come from that. When the stats max out, in the lore, that's called like a bottleneck. If you don't have the ability to break through to increase their caps again. So you could, for the player, they would have to like switch the manuals, right? For NPCs and so on, they don't have that. So we have a separate path for NPCs that we're applying right now to the player, who just bypass that altogether and just continuously increase these and spend breakthrough points as need as it gets to that. And so we get to like now a level 1 character. To show kind of what it looks like, I'm not going to go into the whole thing. It should be under resource, I believe. Player. So this is like our player data object. This is still work in progress. Like, we're going to be extending this a bit. We have to apply things like first name, last name, and procedurally generate names if needed, things like that. But for the player, we have like the seed configurations and stuff like that. So 150 points in attainment will get us to around level 1 here. That's the idea, right? The scale of this is that as you meditate, you gain experience. Experience can convert at 1,000 to 1 attainment point. 1 attainment point can be used to spend to increase one of these parameters. One of these parameters increases the progress of your minor realm. Your minor realm will then give you a breakthrough point. Your breakthrough point will increase your progress. Spending your breakthrough points will increase your progress in your major realm. And also increase slightly your caps. And getting to your major realm increase will drastically increase your caps, as well as apply various effects and stuff like that. We haven't gotten to the various effects yet, but that's the overall process here for the stat system. Took me about 3 to 4 days to make it. It's been a trip. Well, actually, the whole stats took a little bit longer, but this part of it took about 3 days. So what we're doing now is we're making a UI element to represent this information in a clean way for the player. But also leveraging our what we made previously, our UI orchestrator pattern, which we've already leveraged by using this over here, which is our UI view, which is the beauty of the whole process. So we don't really have to do any additional coding. We just need to slap UI view on something, and it's already now part of our orchestrator pattern. Okay, that explains what we're doing. Okay, let's see what chat is up to. The bowl is a tasty. Okay, I put cereal, then milk, then bowl. Gotcha. All right. We got. Okay. Sure thing, brother. I don't really know what is going on in David Zucchini's mind. Heist GG. Hello, Heist GG. Hey. But for some reason he decided to add dynamic faces and makeup. That guys also actually got new sub. Oh, thank you. Anyways, how do you even not get confused with your workspace? I don't know how to use Unity, and that's a lot of buttons and stuff. What are we talking about here? So, okay. The entire point of this channel isn't really to get this stuff done. When I stream, it's to like inform, right? So let's inform. So let's talk about what we're looking at when I look at this. I have my setup. You can adjust your setup however you like with Unity, right? So you can go here to this little button layout, and you can select drop down. You won't see it from my screen, but you can select whatever layout you want. I have my custom layout here. I can get my scene view by clicking this little tab right here, and it'll just show me the scene that I'm looking at. Right now is in console view, so I could see basically my console read as I'm working. I'm not going to open Animator. I don't trust it to not crash my Unity or create issues. And for some reason I have version control on. I'm going to close this. Don't really care. And then for me personally, I put these 3 tabs down here. My animation. This is in case of when I'm working on animations, I can deal with the animator over here, and then also be creating animations here. And then I can just flip over to game and test out the my workspace. Timeline, I never really use timeline. This is for when I'm doing like long sequences. So like the camera comes in, goes around, looks at certain things, goes back, and then goes behind the camera over the shoulder or something. Like this is what a timeline is for, to like just control the scene to create a cinematic full motion video. And that's basically it as far as what these goes. Now, as far as this stuff goes, contextually, I think you can figure this out. In a 3D situation, or 2D really, I could turn this on to see gizmos, so you can notice that there's like this little box now. This is the camera's view, right? This is like where the camera sees things right now. I'm going to turn that off. We can turn on stats. When we play the game, we'll basically be seeing what we're consuming, what we're doing with it. My audio is off. There's no music anyway. We can scale up or down. You can't really see the difference because nothing really on the screen yet. For UI, I always, just generally in Unity, one pitfall people when they're doing with UGUI, like all of the pain people have with UGUI comes from not doing this one step first. Always set your aspect ratio to what you're going to be using in your game before you start messing with canvases or anything UI related. Right now we're doing UI. I'm working on 1920 by 1080. And then you can set the game to simulator in case you wanted to like set up for like what you want to visualize on a device. And then you can just like select a various devices that you might want to work with. Right? For us, we're just going to go back to game and do our thing. Over here, it's basically kind of the same stuff that's going on over here, but for the scene view, right? Which gives us finer control. You can notice that we have like these different grids and so on. We can scale these grids up, like adjust them. Could be able to. Whatever. We'll just type. So you can see, like, I can make the grids. I don't know if it's coming through on the stream, but there's like these thin grids, right? And we can increase the size of them and so on, like various things. If we had more objects, I could click these things and you could do different things with how it wants to draw, like wire meshing the objects and so on. And of course gizmos again, and so on, right? So all of these different buttons, most of them you're not going to be using at any given time, but some of them you can. As far as this section goes, this is the hierarchy tab, right? Hierarchy is anything that's currently in the scene right now. So this right now is our current scene, which is just the sample scene. This can never not have a scene in it, the hierarchy. So Unity will always populate it with a scene, and you can never get rid of the last scene. So I just build on the sample scene. It's very doable to just grab everything here and then have like a second scene. Like you can have multiple of these scenes open, grab everything here and just drag it to a scene that I actually wanted in, or just rename this scene to something else that I want it to be named and then save it. Scenes are stored over here. So this is what they look like. So this is my sample scene. This is basically this unpacked, right? So we can visualize it. But it's the same thing. On what else? So these Unity uses game objects and mono behavior, right? So anything that is a game object are these things that you're seeing me highlight, right? These are all game objects. But each game object uses composition. Composition means that, think of it like you have a piece of paper, a game object is a piece of paper, and each component of the composition is like a sentence or paragraph, whatever, right? On that page. So that's how Unity is set up. All game objects must come with a transform. Like they will always come with transform. And all transforms inherit mono behavior. So that's going into programming. You just need to know that all mono behaviors are components. So you can do component, add component on every mono behavior. There's one exception, abstract classes, but I won't get into that. Like if we want to get into that, that's all programming side. But basically that's how this is all set up. So any of the buttons that you see over here now on this thing, this tab, was created as part of that component, right? So like we have the camera component here. You can see all of these buttons here. Unity builds that for you off of that. I have my orchestrator here. I don't really need any buttons on this or anything, so I didn't make any. And so on. Like we have our image here. We can adjust like how we display this image. Like if I show this image now, I can do that like this. You can see it's showing, like I'm messing with the alpha. I'm not sure if it's coming through. Right? And so we can see the image color there. We can apply a material to the image if we wanted to do weird things through a shader later or whatever. We can also change this. Let's actually make it visible. And we can actually just change this to being something that's filled and like that. Right? So we can like goof around with specifics. I hope that like helps clarify like what's going on here now. What you're seeing me do when you see me go into Unity and start coding up stuff, like what I'm working on right now is this here, Cultivation Visualizer script. So we just finished the control panel controller. So that would basically be right here. We just want to go, we can do two things. We can either drag and drop it onto this, right? Like we could just easily drag and drop it here and it'll add it here, right? Or we could have just gone here and just click on add component and we could have added it there as well. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Do you ever use custom editor? I find it really useful to display data like you printed on your console and data attached to mono behavior. Custom editor? Not sure what you mean by that. So I wrote this. See, this is what I don't like. When you mess with certain things in Unity, like it'll start throwing you warnings because things don't like being messed with. This is just a debug log. Like, it's not really a custom editor thing, right? So if I go here, you'll see it. I just double clicked it. It's opening up. All right, so this is just the log. So as soon as we hit start, or sorry, as soon as initialize is finished, which is firing off when we hit start, or I think it's start, or whatever. Once this is initialized, it's going to do report, and then report just starts composing a string, a very long string, and then we just do debug log and convert this to string. That's it. All right, and so that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing over here. This is not exactly a custom, and maybe it's what I don't know what you're meaning exactly when you say custom editor. I'm assuming that this isn't it though. Actually, I don't even use Unity, but I do have some HTML and JS knowledge. CSS is just Oh, okay, custom. I say. Sorry, it's been a long day. Sorry. Yeah. It's not in this project, but I've done it quite a few times. In fact, for this, actually, I'm lying. In this project, there are some custom editors that I've already set up. So you'll see them here for like my scriptable objects. So like here, you can see that we have this button right here. Let me open it up so you can see where this comes from. So instead of tapping custom editor directly, what I use is attributes. And I tap the attributes, and the attributes tap custom editor. So for like this, I just created a custom attribute called button, which converts sync name into being a button. That makes sense, right? And I also have like various custom attributes for different, like read only is my own custom attribute. You'll see it here, where when you look here, you'll see that this address ID, I can't click it, it's grayed out. So that's what it does. Stuff like that, I prefer doing it like this than to make like an actual custom editor for a specific thing, only to realize later I don't need it. You know what I mean? Like certain things I don't need. It leaves wiggle room. And then later on, once I've like solidified something, then yeah, sure, I'd make like a custom editor for it. But when I make custom editors, now I tend to make them in, I don't use UGUI for that. I use or the custom editor script. I use the new UI toolkit for that. It's just, new UI toolkit is terrible for games. It's great for the editor. That's what in my experience, that's what I've gotten from it. Like it beats the actual editor scripting by miles. It's much faster to iterate through it. It's better to do it that way. But for actual games, UGUI just, it's what you see is what you get, you know, and you can't beat that. UGUI's, new UI toolkit is just not in a place to beat that yet, in my opinion. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, if you're doing custom editor, UI toolkit is, because you get to do what you see is what you get with it, without much. It's basically like how UGUI is for the actual game, but for the editor. And you can't really beat that, you know what I mean? Like, you get to style your own editor and stuff like that. And you don't have to worry about any XML or data binding nonsense. It's just what you see is what you get. Okay, let's see. So we were over here now, and we were about to. If there's any other questions with regards to like how Unity is set up or buttons, Power Trip, go right ahead and ask. Don't be shy. How do you feel about? Also, how do you feel about programming? I'm tired of it right now. I'll be honest. I'm very tired. But I enjoy it. I do enjoy programming. It's just I'm tired. I think I've written several books and code just over the last 6-7 months. Let's close this. Let's get back to what we were at, though. Okay, so the very first thing when you're making new UI elements in Unity is you want to try to get all of your let's call them ducks in a row. So the very first thing is we want to get, so serialized field, and we want to get our cultivation panel private. Right. Okay. So we want to display the realm name. We also want to, let's realm. Actually, let's do this like this. Give ourselves some eye room. And good stuff. Okay. Your game is still in 2021. I'll tell you this. If you ever get like a weekend to just like do it, I would say that if your game isn't too huge, that is, get it, make the branch, and then just bring it directly to Unity 6 and play through each scene. It's really not that bad to go up to Unity 6. Oh. Are you, well, hold on now. Are you using, which pipeline are you using on your current version? Because if you're using, because I believe they do have, I'm pretty sure they have it. Let me just check. Pretty sure I've seen it. There's a converter for the standard pipeline to URP. And URP is basically the new standard pipeline in Civ. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Rendering, generate core, preference. Where are you? I can't see it now. I'm like, I think I'm just too tired for my brain to like see, or for my brain to allow my eyes to see things. So, but it's somewhere here. I've done it before, where like I've just converted standard things made off of the standard pipeline to universal render pipeline. If your custom rendering is going through standard pipeline. If you're going through URP, you really probably shouldn't have too many issues. Like, it's gonna, you can do some conversions. I see. Okay, fair enough. You know your project better than I know your project, sir. You say it's too much, I already know the pain you're talking about. Okay, so next we need to do the breakthrough badge. Oh, sure. What's the name of it? Outbreak. Soon as my, oh, Notepad did open over there. Outbreak. I gotcha. Alright. I'll take a look. I have an order of things. I'm going to take care of that after I finish this. um, okay, let's see. Sorry, Power Trip. I missed some of your stuff. Give me a second. Do you feel that languages like C, C Sharp, Java, and C++ should like make scripting a code that prints what? Sort. Oh, I see. So like if you wanted to do hello world in Unity anyway, right? Like you could just do something like this. Um right? And that should work perfectly fine. Is that I mean, if you want it to be even shorter, we could do something like this, I guess. Right? I, I think that maybe answers that issue. Yeah, so Unity, let's go over that real quick. Unity has these. Let's write them all down. Well, actually, let's do it the right way. Okay, so what you're looking at here is called a component's life cycle, right? Well, actually, hold on. Let me go. This is the component's life cycle. So all objects run through what's called an initializer, including this object. All mono behaviors call this at the very beginning. Now, for mono behaviors, we never usually put anything inside of the constructor. That's what this is called. Okay, for mono behaviors. For other things, we use constructor. Like I'll show you another, like my entity script. We use a constructor all the time, right? So like this is my constructor right here, but this doesn't inherit mono behavior, right? But for Unity objects, Unity related objects, we just don't use their constructor. It's safer to use awake for stuff that you want to happen early. In order of how they happen, we have awake. Awake is the very first thing that's going to happen on this script. On enable, second, start, third. Awake only ever happens once. Once the object enters the scene, that's when it goes off. Enable happens any time that you enable or disable this object, but it always happens before start. Update will happen every frame. Fixed update is used specifically for physics related. Anything that needs to happen at very specific intervals, right? Like this thing needs to happen every 60 times per second or whatever. That's what fixed update is. You can actually go to Unity and change this in your project settings to how much ever you want this to be. Late update is where you put most things that are related to movement with regards to your camera. this is where you would throw that type of stuff. Late update basically happens at the very end of any frame. So an update does its thing, late update is called at the end before we go into the next update call. This allows any kind of movement or whatever to happen. Late update will take care of the visualization of that movement. Disable, similar to this pattern but going out, happens before we do destroy. And of course, destroy means that you've called the game object destroy, or it would actually be this. Huh, what is it? There it is. Okay, destroy game object. I could have sworn you could have called it the other way, right? And so this comes from. This should have worked. I don't know why it wasn't coming up before. But destroy comes from mono behavior, and you can target the game object itself. You can target this itself, right? So if you target this, you'll just be destroying this component on this object. If you target the game object, you'll just destroy the whole game object. I've already described what a game object is versus what a component is, right? So this is the game object itself, the dungeon. This script right here is a component of this game object. Alright, there you go. Hopefully that helps. So this is, again, what's called a life cycle in Unity. Pretty simple stuff. Alrighty then, let's get back to work again. Alright, pleasure meeting you, Power Trip. And hopefully that was helpful. You decide to use Unity? You're not too scared of it, I guess. Yeah, I mean everything within like I'm sold on that. Unity can handle just about any kind of project, right? Like base Unity can handle a lot of stuff. A lot. But I understand. Dude, this is yeah, that's good for now. I'm too lazy. I'm getting too lazy to write out because I just want to get this done. Pip. You're gonna have to make all of these in a second. All right, and these are the various colors. But base Unity can handle quite a lot of work. I found color. So we're going to have okay, and I don't know. I haven't really messed with UE to really comment into that direction. Like I've messed with it, but I don't see a substantial enough difference between UE and Unity to say, well, UE can do certain things better than Unity. There are certain things that are amazing in UE, absolutely. There's certain, and I don't mean as in like technology-wise, I mean workflow-wise. But a lot of that stuff can be, if you want to go into technology really quickly, A lot of the tech that Unity has, it's just nobody uses them. Right? It's a weird thing. It's not that nobody uses them. It's that Unity has done a really, if you try to put it next to one another, Unity has done a horrible job marketing that technology next to how Unreal just doesn't even have to market. Everyone knows what Unreal is all about. They if you can't run Unreal, get a better PC, right? Everyone knows that about Unreal. Unity doesn't have that that stigma that Unreal turned into a benefit, right? But Unity has it too. If you go through the HDRP line for developing, you're basically in Unreal territory with regards to technology. Um, with regards to workflow, though, you have to look more at stability and what one provides over the other. Unreal provides very good tools for prototyping out quickly. Unity does not. That's what I notice. But the end result is to do real work. Unreal is not there any more so than Unity is not there. Right? They're in the same area of they're both figuring it out for very weird things. Like Godot nails, absolutely nails UI. Like just in 2026, the UI in Godot, the way that you develop UI in Godot, it's like when you go back to Unity or you go to any UGUI or even UI toolkit, it's like Unity is trying to force me back to 2001, 2010. Uh, it's bad. But Godot, that's after you've used Godot once. If you've never used Godot, you wouldn't know. Like you'd think, oh, this is just how it's done. No, it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to eat dirt. Like, oh man. We need to. I thought we were already inheriting it. Um, yeah, let's do the colors. Do we have one state progress bar? We'll see. Once this is done, we'll get a better picture of what it's going to look like. Okay. Okay. Like people forget with Unity is that there's a paid version, right? And when you pay for it, it's a very different experience, especially if you're going in. That's why I said like once you go into the HDRP territory, it's a very different experience. When you're under a paid contract with Unity and they're working with you to make your system better. Customer service is definitely top notch.
Seeing monsters out your window. No, you can't sleep. You pretend though you don't have to play the hero.
Yeah, but
Cause I
you know,
got you like you got me.
like once you start making things in Unity and you're under the paid version, you kind of start to realize, oh, there's more to it than just the total dumpster fire of fragmented features that the free version is. Like I love that's one thing I find at this point I find it charming with Unity that they'll release something, say it's feature complete, and it's like fragmented garbage all over the place. You have to like go to the asset store to actually complete it. it's, like, it's like at least be honest. Like, oh man. At this point, it's just charming. Like when I see people get hyped for things like, "Oh, Dots is gonna be great, ECS," and I'm like, "Okay, let me spend." I think it was like 2-3 years ago. I spent the summer just getting familiar with Dots and ECS, and it took me like maybe 3 weeks to just say who. I forget what was the game. V Rising. The guys from that made the game using Dots. I was like, "There's always gonna be some level of being on the spectrum that'll get you through this experience. Like you can't. This is made for someone, and I'm just not there. Like the level of tenacity, I wasn't there yet. But yeah, the amount of it's not so much that it's difficult. It's just I couldn't deal with the idea of having to do 2 layers of boilerplate to get what I was doing with one. You know what I mean? Like just at that point, just get rid of C# and just let me code directly to C++ and manage my memory and all kinds of good stuff. Like, yeah. Mr. Apotic, yes. Like I met this guy who like absolutely brilliant guy, right? Like he's teaching all kinds of stuff, like very high level stuff. Addressables do help. I'm going to so after we do the full launch for Apple, I hope probably by this weekend or next week. Um, I'm going to be working with my coworker, the other developer, to get addressables. So here's the thing, right? If the project began, because they started this project maybe 4 years ago now, almost 5 years ago. And if they had started it off with addressables, fine. But the project is in existence. It's there's so much stuff going on with that project. As far as like files, like where files are. To later on implement addressables is rough. So we're gonna need to take time on that, probably like just a week or so, just to like figure out where everything is and how this would play with addressables. But yeah, addressables the way they implemented it does look really good. Welcome back, Power Trip. Goodbye, Power Trip. I'm still loving the approach. I'm currently working on ATM. It's using GDScript to make the prototype of the mechanics, then taking the heaviest usage into C# to reduce the issue by 10. Interesting. I mean, Godot is weird for that. Like, I get it, it works, but I've never thought to like, I would be in the middle of a class and then have to like partition. I guess you do. I have done that. Like when I do stuff like this, I do it right. Where is it? I just do something. Just change the namespace. So we can do something like this. right? And we can get away with that same concept. And then this one would be done in GD script, and then this one would be done in C sharp. I get it. You could do that. But that is like, I wouldn't do this normally unless I was typing out a database. Like, for databasing, that makes sense. Welcome back, Nick. That's what happened when I joined my project. I had to implement it mid-project, but memory management was reduced by 40%. Fair enough. Maybe I should do that. I'm just, you know what it is? On my current project, I'm doing both the, I'm porting the game essentially. So when they picked me up, I started off with porting the game over from a offline game to being a live service. So we have a backend server, we have a login server, and I'm the guy writing everything, right? I put everything together. Then on top of that, there's also new features that need to be added to the game. So the way that it works is if you coded it once with databasing, if you coded it once, you test it 10 times. We coded it once and tested it twice. So basically, we're flying by the edge of our seats, right? But it's so far it's been working fine. The hits haven't been too hard, and it looks nice. There we go. Nick, I played a game of TF2 because free will. Fair enough. Team Fortress 2. That game has been around for a hell of a long time. Should I use my pooler for this? I don't think I should. It doesn't pay to do it. No, we're gonna do it this way. If I feel like as if this needs a pooler, because this is not like a ton of stuff is going to be all over the screen. Fine. What is this? Zip container is supposed to be the segments. Why is it not? What is this child? Child is supposed to... Why is it coming back to object? This is supposed to be... This is supposed to be a transform. This is a... Whatever. We can be explicit then. I don't know why it was doing that, but I could have sworn if you targeted a... Whatever. There was a game way back when. It came out, so my cousin was the one who introduced it to me when I was a kid. It was called Serious Sam 2. And it was basically... it was a single player version. It's a single player game. Think of it kind of like a Doom kind of situation, right? Like it's very fast paced, twitch reaction, shoot, dive, shoot, blow things up, big effing gun, all types of stuff. But there was a game, I think it was called Red. Was it called Red Faction? I think that's what it was called. The game was hilarious though. Like you could play it, I think you could play it multiplayer. And I recall it was 4-player multiplayer. And I remember I had a rocket launcher. And there was 2 buildings on either side. It was one of those maps where you just have a long straight path with some winding, a little bit of winding, but you can see the path clearly. And then there's just 2 buildings on either side, and it was complete mayhem. Like everybody's just trying to kill everybody. And there's like, I don't know, 18 bots and 4 players. And I remember my cousin jumped from one of the buildings and I shot a rocket. I didn't know that he was going to jump. Like he just jumped and the rocket caught him. So the environments are disruptible also in the game. The rocket caught him mid-drop, and the only thing that dropped after the explosion and smoke were two legs on the ground. I remember that. That was two smoking legs, charred up, black charred up smoking legs. That was hilarious. Wow, I had to actually remember all of that. It didn't even try to. It didn't even try to auto complete that for me. It was. It was. It was very fun.
We got millions of reasons to let it all go. Hope we're not too broken. I know I'm not always strong. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been fighting ways to get
I didn't miss anything. I'm pretty good. Okay. So now let's start painting our stuff. So get the cultivation. We need to get a realm, obviously. And let's get the stat manager. Okay. For the last few years, for New Year's, I've been playing Popple. I don't know what the game is. Popple Battle with Popple Battle. I don't know what that game is. That game sure has some missed potential. Kind of like ran out of semi-skill based party games now. Yeah, yeah. The death of local multiplayer. There is I did see some people playing this game. It looks like a runner game where it's like four people running and the entire point is to screw the other people over. So there's still some games like that. Like it's run and then you have to basically I forget what it is. Like you pick some pre-created character and then you collect. It's kind of got that Mario. It's a side scroller kind of deal. And you run. You can wall hop. It's 2D. Collect the items. Try to chuck them back at whoever is behind you, or take out the person in first place. That type of thing. And it can get toxic. Like those are the games that you remember. Okay. So let's get the realm name first. So we can just do realm dot get. There it is. Get realm name. Okay. Map manager. Yep. Tier. We need to track the tier also on this, so let's do cultivator. What did I name this? Cultivator. There it is. Okay, cultivation. Get display label. Realm. Right, now we can just do this. What did I name it? Realm subtext. Yeah, I named it right. It's just autocomplete is not being friendly at all today. I don't know if this is going to actually display properly. Well, I mean, we can do it that way. That's fair enough. I want to use that little... I have to find the right font before I start messing with stuff like that, so I'm just going to use a regular old dash. Yeah. Now the breakthrough badge, we just add through. Oh. No. We have to base this on if we can. I think it would be realm that can breakthrough. All right, let's help ourselves out and identify what we're doing here. So this is what?
Thank God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you
All right, so now we're just going to work on the minor realm stuff. Or maybe not. I think I know what you're referring to. Maybe not actually. I'll look it up, but I've seen people play it. I've not played it myself, but I have seen people play it, and I've seen friends do things and say things to one another while playing that game that it reminds me of why I like game development. Like being able to make two best friends for life turn around and absolutely hate each other for around, I don't know, 15 seconds. Satisfaction. Okay, so we need to check first what the last realm was. Now the beautiful part about all of this is, again, everything here is determinative. So I can do a projection of the past, the future, whatever I want. Because the seed is always the same, I'll always get the same results whenever I do any sampling. Which, super nice. This autocomplete is not helping me at all. Like, there it is, I see. Okay. All right. Sometimes autocomplete is obnoxious. Now it's just like, it went out to get milk and never came back. Yeah, that should look good. Yeah, that could be fine, all right? We'll see. Nothing has to be perfect the very first time. Okay. So we can just copy paste most of this. Right, and then now we just need to tint the tips. Yeah, my autocomplete is it went out for cigarettes, Heist. It went out. I don't know where it's at. Waiting. Like sometimes at least it tries to like tell me if I meant when I type like init if I meant like init async something another. It doesn't even do that anymore. It just left me alone. I feel like right now I'm writing skater language. Like there's just zero autocomplete help. I have to actively remember what was in these. It's a good thing I only wrote these. I think like on Sunday, so it's the stuff is still in memory a little bit. But holy cow! Wow, it's not even. Jeez Louise. There we go. It did it right? Yeah, okay. So I usually advocate against what I'm about to do, right? Normally I wouldn't say, hey, use get component inside of a for loop. But in this case, it doesn't matter because we kind of, um, we kind of already, how do I put this? We kind of only have 5 of these. So anytime that we do a paint here, we're only ever going to be doing this for 5 things. It's not terrible. And they don't have anything on them except an image component. It's partially laziness, partially it's just like this is such a small UI element, it doesn't make sense to keep them in memory after we're done with them. Alright, like that's partial. Like if I really wanted to, I could do something like this. Right here where I do the instantiation, I could have done something like var pip is equal to prefab. right? Like I could have done that, and that's my built-in system for handling this case, right? Which would have just put all of these objects inside of a pooler and all kinds of stuff. I don't want to have to even think about the complications. That's what it is. Like I don't want to think, because over here I have something that's now dependent on destroy. And then if I go further up, this is going to be looking for destroying this object later. So it could be something that I might need to apply certain logic to. And I don't really want to worry with that right now. I just want to get at least this. If I can get like this and another script done and then call it, I'm going to just do that, basically. A long way of saying I'm tired. That's basically it. Yeah, it's just like 5 things. Like if this was something that was going to happen all the time, or like it was frame dependent, then fine, but not. Literally only when the player like enters the menu. And I've done it enough times to know that the performance that you get from doing the pooler in this case is just absolutely not worth it. You don't notice anything. Oh, autocomplete. We need to worry about if the I is equal to the minor realm. Then we go image, color. Why is it pop? It should be pip. Ah, that's why. That finger. There we go. Alright, let's take care of the progress bar now. Wow, if the realm is capped. And we can just set the fill color. We need to track the threshold. The threshold for this. Oh, and that would be the current. Oh, we just need to do the thresh. Oh, okay. Oh, we can just do float. Yeah, okay. And otherwise, it's just 0. Do the fill. So this part we might change later. Let's make a note of that. I'm not sold on this yet. Like, I have to actually see how this works before I know how I'm going to handle epiphanies. So in this system, it's kind of a lie, but it's kind of not. So since everything is determinative in the system, when you proceed along the way of certain stats get this chance, like after you level them up, let's say you go from like level 6 and then you go to like level 7 or whatever, or tier 7, whatever you want to call it. Tier 7 might be an epiphany tier, which means that once you max it or level it, you get double the stat point that you would have gotten normally. Right? So 2 for the price of 1, basically. Yeah. So to signify that that's what's going on here, I'm not sure if it makes sense to use a bar to do that, or if it's better to do it some other way. I think some other way is the answer. I'm not too sure about that. You need to do a clamp on this. Okay, so our painting is done for this. I think we're gonna call. What time is it? Yeah, we're gonna call it. I wanted to stick to this for like 2 hours. I think this is the 2-hour mark. We had a good run. This was good enough. I think this is the end of this script. So let's do a quick review, I guess, of what we did, what we accomplished. You can get rid of. Okay. So let's go back up to right here. So we have ourselves here. This is our orchestrator pattern UI system. Let's go take a look at what it's about. Now, with an orchestrator, essentially, what are we trying to accomplish? Or what problem is it that an orchestrator tries to solve? Effectively, it's making a UI system that is dumb. The UI does not know about other UI. So then the question is, well, duh, like, why isn't that normal? Well, in most cases when you're designing in Unity, people have this weird tendency of thinking you just need a UI manager. A UI manager knows about all of the UI. It knows how to relay information between one element of UI to another element of UI, and that is a stateful behavior, right? The idea of an orchestrator is that you're stateless. So the orchestrator doesn't know about what the state of the UI is. The UI itself does not know about any of the other elements that are currently being displayed or not. So then the question is, oh, then how does this work? Like, how do you tell it, hey, I want you to close this element and open that element and not have like z-conflicts with this element and so on and so forth? That's what the orchestrator handles. So UI view is one element of that. It's the thing that handles the work of communicating back to the orchestrator when this thing's life cycle is up, right? Like, it has its own life cycle. This thing also communicates back out to things that want to hook into its events. So we have here some Unity events. Now we use Unity events because, of course, we want this stuff to be exposed on the inspector, so on and so forth. So let's take a look at, for example, like where this is called. This is the orchestrator right here. Okay, so this is the orchestrator. This is simply just a registration pattern, and we have a simple call show. Right? We have some checks to know if something is showing or not. But this isn't really what makes this work. What makes this work isn't the way. This is like the linchpin, yes. But what's making this work are service patterns that exist to cover up for this, right? To handle specific behaviors that need to be made. Now, unfortunately, this also means that you can't then create complicated sequences without. Well, you can technically, right? So let me show. I can't show the whole thing right now. I'm tired, but we do have the ability to create sequences on UI using scriptable objects. So, like, if you look right here, we have our start menu that I had made previously. I'm not going to show it now. Maybe the next time I stream, I'll show how this works. But we have our UI view elements here, right? And these tell you how these want to behave, how they want to act, and we can apply a style to them for how these want to animate themselves into the scene. So they can slide in, and these are all tweened, right? So they can slide in. We put in like so we put in a hidden position and a show position, and we offset. So effectively, like, we have the UI in the position that we want originally, and then we offset it. It takes a little bit of playing around. Like, you have to like create your own animations. But once you do that, there is a little button on this that'll show up. Where is it? Over here. This should already have it, no? Yeah, so like right here, like these two buttons. So as soon as we add this to it, it will add a UI view animator script, right? That's part of this. That's part of this, right? It'll automatically add a UI animator. The animator allows us to capture the current state of the UI as its shown state. So from whatever we do, it'll try to go back to this state once we tell it to show the animator or show this component, right? And then we use the capture state. Will then create a style scriptable object for us. And that style scriptable object can then be edited to create the hide state. Then from there, we can actually just drag and drop the style here to test it out, and we can see like how it will behave with this style. And then once we actually play the game, it'll just do its thing, like, because that's all we know is show and hide. That's basically. Thank you very much, Ice. You haven't seen it working yet. It does work. I've used it. Obviously, I've used it. Otherwise, I wouldn't keep developing on top of it. But maybe the next stream that I do, hopefully I'll get the other 2 scripts done, and then be able to like do some actual UI work, test out. Maybe like in the next 3 streams, I think 2 to 3 streams, be able to get everything working. All right, this was fantastic. Thank you for joining, Heist. Thank you for joining me. Nepal, if you're there, no, Jerry, highly doubt you're probably sleeping by now. Thank you for joining. Guys, have a wonderful day. Stay up, stay blessed. Oh, and yeah, I will be checking out the Steam page, Heist. I have your game Outbreak on my list of things to hit now.